G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Please be sure to check out my links below, including exchanges I use and social media content that I post. All right, let's go. So welcome to another weekly video, and I'm doing this one on a Friday night this time around. It's probably a busy day tomorrow with the AFL Grand Final going on and all that. So I thought I'd make it tonight. It's a nice, chilled, quiet night. So, yeah, I can definitely get a lot covered and hopefully make it worthwhile for another weekly video. So what we'll further start off with is the economic data that's coming out tonight. So the anticipation of PCE, which is what the Fed's preferred inflation measure is. Okay, so you got PCE and you got CPI inflation. This is the Fed likes to look at PCE. Anyway, the consensus, what we're looking at for month over month for core is 2.2% increase month over month. Previously was 0.3%. Okay, so will it increase 0.2 or 0.3? We'll have to wait and see because we've got 0.3 on the forecast as well. And personal income as well is coming out, and personal spending information is coming out as well. And you got year over year numbers for just a standard PCE price, so core and standard PCE. Okay, so 2.7 is what's predicted, or 2.8, and it's previously 2.6. We're going to see an increase in PCE or a drop. Interesting to see what happens. I can't give a prediction, but I'll probably say it'll be either flat or could be slightly in line with expectations. And that'll be probably good for markets. If it's in line with expectations and it's nothing out of the ordinary, it's not going to shock markets. But it could also shoot higher, could go 2.8, 2.9, or even go lower. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it's something you've got to track, sort of have a look at. I'll quickly look at the year over year numbers is what the Fed really look at on a long-term perspective. You know, getting around that 2% tile goal. And we're slightly above that now, but look, we're not overly extended too bad. So look, 5 years, data, we're sort of here. So we are flatlined from June to July. We'll see what August numbers come in at, whether we see increase or decrease, because we are sort of moderating around these levels from 2.8 to 2.1. So it's pretty healthy inflation. Okay, it's not out of the ordinary. Like you got out here at 7.2 in June, got really high here, so it's pretty healthy, all right? Good inflation numbers, but we'll see what happens at 10:30 p.m. AEST time. Now onto the fear and greed index for crypto. So Bitcoin's fear and greed index is at a staggering 28. Wow. So yesterday it was only 44, as you can see here. Now we're sort of getting towards extreme fear, getting to this sort of darker orange, sort of red area. Last week was neutral. Last month was 51. So yeah, we're heading to these fearful levels, which is interesting to see. And you can see here yesterday, we're sort of going sideways most of the time. Went as low as 39, went as high as 55, 57, and then bam, we're down here at 28. Okay, a year timeline, I'll have a quick look at. And you can see we are going down, okay, and making lower lows, all right, from the August peak. And then Bitcoin's price action, then obviously fear and greed follows it down. And so getting to these levels around here, okay, the 20s, all right when the April fear was kicking in for the tariff scare thing. Not quite as low as this one, of course, to 10 in February. But yeah, it's hovering around here, getting to these levels, which is a sort of times showing that markets, de-risking a little bit. And yeah, getting rid of all that leverage I've been seeing, and yeah, good to see it finally clearing up and going lower for a good entry. That's the way you look at it, is a good buying opportunity. Now look at Google Trends out. Bitcoin is quite low on the 5 year for worldwide, 18, as we got to 18 in June, July period. Okay, and even back in October, hovering around these levels. So quite low. Okay. Even back in April and that. So we're hovering around these low points, these trough areas. Okay, so Nothing exciting. Back in summer of 2023, so really, really nasty. Summer of 2024. So you get these periods where it's not very good seasonality-wise, Q3 for the markets and particularly Bitcoin. And, I see these levels going up to ridiculous heights up here, 100. So, we're sort of far away from there, but we're sort of bottoming out, I think, and eventually we should see a nice uptick to the upside. And it's definitely shows that people aren't really interested at the moment. It's kind of a dead environment, and that's Google Trends suggesting. On a bit of Twitter now. This guy here, David F, is really good to follow. Give him a follow at Tradinghurst on Twitter. And he's sort of from the start of the year, or to say 2024, all the way up to now. So mid that year to now, it's sort of showing the 30-day cycles. Okay, so from bottom to bottom, 30 days, bottom to bottom, top to top, 30 days between each peak and each bottom. And you can see it follows from the red to the green to the red to the green, peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, and you can follow it, and it's pretty good. It's not like a perfect gauge, but it's like a rhythmic pattern. The market's following Bitcoin pattern. It's really interesting to follow this chart. And you get to this top here, again, and this bottom, to this top, this bottom, and it perfect marked out the recent top that we had in August, and now we're heading down in September. Okay, so that is what is going on. Or I should say September's here. Sorry, September, mid-September, and then we're going to late September. That's that one. And we're looking at finding a bottom in the 1st of October. So we're getting very close to a bottom of this chart. So that is that. And here it is on the Bitcoin on the 3-day time frame. Okay, so we're hitting at support level here at 109,673. And the bull market support band's there too. So we're sort of at that bull market support band. We're testing it again. Will we break below it and head down the 50-week? Who knows? Who knows? But we sort of want to sweep these lows. My opinion, get rid of this. There's a lot of longs sitting underneath here. Get rid of them, and then bam, sort of get rid of these bastards, and then send it higher. I think even if we come down this channel and just quickly wick down 100k and go higher, it's a possibility because it'll retest this trend line. Okay, come back down, fill this wick potentially, and then off for the races from there. So that could play out. It's not off the cards, out of the ordinary. So we will line up with the 50-week moving average, as we have throughout this cycle so far, and you don't want it breaking below it. So you want it holding, nice like support like here, 2024, April, and we stayed above it in 2023 in the summertime. So it's sort of, as soon as you cross above, that's the bull market. See that? Stay above it. You want to stay above it. That's important, okay? I've made videos about the 50 weeks showing, historically, if you go back, as soon as we sort of break down, especially on a weekly time frame, okay? As soon as you break down, you're sort of struggling to hold above it, and then bam, it capitulates. 2 weekly closes below, and it stays below it, sort of struggles to go above, and then you stay down and down and down. There's your bear market, okay? All the way below this 50-week, and then you break out, and there's your bull market, all right? So that's that one. If you go back before that, it was the 2017 cycle. We stayed above it, and we broke down here, and we stayed below it. Bear market lows, broke through it, staying a new cycle, and then we actually, we struggled to hold here. Really, we were closing below it. Made a bit of a nice rally there into early 2020, and then had the pandemic. All right, so that sort of threw things off course, but the Fed injected all this money, and we came back up, and we held it as support and continued higher. So this black swan event occurred, okay, out of the ordinary 1 in a 100-year event happened, which threw this sort of bull market, delayed it a little bit, but it was quick to recover, and then we stayed above this 50-week moving average, okay? So here, held it here, and then we just broke down, okay? So that was all the way to the peak, same as 2017, okay? From the bear market lows all the way down here, 2014 to 2015, and then bam, broke above it. Then there you go. There's your bull market in 2017, okay? So that is that. All right, that's that analysis. We want to hold this 50-week. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, very, very crucial. So either we wick down here, at the support level down at 100K, or we just go slightly lower. I'm tossing up between either 105 area, like here, 106 to 100K. Somewhere in between there would be a healthy time to pick up some BTC, okay? And look at the MACD, looking to cross bearish now. So we were bullish, see this bullish cross here. And we're actually right at this mid-September peak here, came down, and now we're sort of curling back over again, fortunately. So it was a false bullish break, heading to cross, as you can see here. And once this goes down again, I think it's going to come back oversold. And then Bitcoin could follow the price, yeah? And then that would follow the MACD. That's my sort of analysis, the way I look at this. And then you got the risk metric sitting at the moment 46. So we're getting there, not at the green level yet. I did, back here, I circled nice and green, great buying opportunity. Back in 2024, green here, and green here. As you can see, green, green, and green. Terrible drawing. But you get the idea, and that was the perfect buying opportunity to send us higher. And 2023, okay? I'll go back and further. I'm not going to make a video dedicated to this thing, but it's a great indicator that I'm following. And yeah, I'll wait for this to happen, play out. If it does, amazing. I'm going to chuck a lot of money at this market, okay? So also altcoins though, because we've got towards the end of this cycle, and you want to see altcoins outperform Bitcoin going into the final peak. Whenever that does occur, whether it's end of this quarter or quarter four, or going into Q1, Q2 of next year. But I do think probably next year, Q1, Q2. That's what I'm predicting. Okay, so that's that one. This is sort of taking very long to play out. Monetary policy is a bit slow. Rates aren't where historically have been for the past crypto cycles. And we've still got QT continuing. So the Fed is running off the balance sheet. So, and that just shows with Bitcoin dominance still going up. Okay, Bitcoin dominance has found its low here. And you can pull up the MACD, and we're sort of curling up, and a nice bullish push, okay, as predicted. And yeah, we should see a nice push up. I don't know exactly where to, but I am seeing it go, unfortunately, back up to here, 66%. Probably take the high and then drop there. Happened pretty quickly. I want to see this sweep liquidity like we did last cycle, 2021, okay. As you see, we thought the top was in when QE started. So if I overlay QE, you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Hang on, sorry. Here we go. Price scale. And the Fed increased. So they'll decrease the balance sheet here, as you can see. Sorry. And then they increased it, which is good for markets. Really, really good. Bullish for alt season. It's much a must recipe for alt season. And we sort of saw a top here when this occurred. Bitcoin dominance went down. Okay, as it was increasing, and we found a low. Oh, okay, well, why did it stop here? Why did it keep crashing down? And we had this MACD, and then boom, we took out this high. We actually went higher than this high by a slight wick, as you can see up here, okay? Wicked it, and then went down. Then we had that was alt season right there, okay? It's happened nice and quick, fell off a cliff, and bam. 2017 cycle was a bit different. Took a bit longer. Okay, it was more of a slight. It was grinding down lower and down there, so it was a bit different in 2017. So I'm not saying it's going to play exactly like 2021, but who knows? Who knows? I do see after Bitcoin finishes correction, that dominance can still go higher when Bitcoin starts to rally into the final peak, and I think it'll still the spotlight, and then that money will flow from Bitcoin to obviously Ethereum and the altcoins, and go from there, flow downwards. But yeah, Bitcoin needs to see its outperformance leading the market once again, as it has done for every single cycle from its bottom to all the way to its tops. Okay, so it leads the cycle here all the way up, and back in this cycle it was sort of whatever. It was pretty stagnant. It was pretty flat, stagnant. A bit different back then. But there was nothing, there's no altcoins back then. Okay, it was new.
You sort of little altcoins popping up here and there, but it's it's the start of it all. But now we've got an establishment. You can see there is more altcoins in the market now. A lot more, tens of thousands. So many created each day. It's ridiculous. Hard to keep track of them all. But yeah, that's that. And dominance I do see coming up to wicket to go down lower. And it's in line with what I'm seeing with the DXY. Seeing a rally, seeing he's pushing nice and strong momentum there. If you go on the weekly time frame, it's a nice bullish cross here. Beautiful. High we go. We've been making these lower highs, and we're sort of curving, and it's forming a base as the MACD is already indicated. And I do see this come up probably towards 50-week moving average. Could go a little bit higher. I'm not sure. If you draw a Fibonacci retracement, you can go from the lows probably to get an understanding of where we can trace. So yeah, it sort of lines up probably 0.5 to, this keeps going lower to meet with the golden pocket, which is above the 101 level. It's definitely a potential where we found support here, okay, for a long time. And yeah, it could come back up to here or go a bit higher. Who knows? You want this to drop durably, okay, to get your alt season as well. So you got the Fed balance sheet in the background with the QE going on, and the balance sheet, the dollar dropping, and there you get alt seasons. Yeah, so that's what you want to see. That's the dollar. So going higher. Same as the treasuries. I'll go at 10-year yield. All right, get rid of this balance sheet for a second, and the 10-year yield. It looked like it was falling out of this triangle pattern, but no, I see this pushing up higher. Okay, this is after the Fed cut rates. People thought it was going to keep going down because they're cutting rates, but no, it does the opposite of what people think. And I'll probably stay up a little bit longer before dropping. You want to sort of steady the yields. You don't want them going bananas and crazily in one direction. But yeah, you want this sort of staying up. And this is in line with the dollar going up and Bitcoin dominance going up. So that is that one. And we'll look at the stock market really quickly and look at pre-market. We're looking sort of flat at the moment, the S&P and the weekly, and the MACD looks like wants to cross bearish at any stage now. So it looks like it's getting very toppy. Up, we had a huge rally from the April low. It's had a massive push up. Okay, huge push up. 39%. So where we get a correction. Okay, and look, the correction it would line up with seasonality for the S&P. Now, usually post-election years, it does get this correction if you average them out in September, October timeframe. So it could get a correction back to the bull market support band. It'd be nothing major. Wouldn't be something to freak out about too much. Very slight pullback, around 6%. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting anything much more than that. Really, it's pretty minor. Nothing to freak out about. And then we keep going higher, okay, into the peak. And continuing to 2026, the S&P will probably top out a bit later than Bitcoin. So I'm predicting this to happen. And NASDAQ and Russell. I'll show you the Russell real quick. We have wicked to the high. Okay, I've come up above this high. You can see this 2021 November and November 2024. He wicked here. Now he wicked this high again in 2025. Okay, so this is sort of usually gets these points with strong resistance, multi-year resistance. We do get a correction, unfortunately. Back to the bull market support band, and then I see it going higher and breaking through on the fourth try. Okay, and this is what you want to see. This sort of thing breaking out into all-time highs and continuing price discovery. In line with what ETH does too. ETH breaking its all-time high. I think it will happen at the same time as the Russell. You're seeing the Russell. ETH. See 2021, same thing. November 21. We didn't have that sort of same high we did in November 2024 or December 24, but the Russell did. So we didn't get that for ETH, but now we're getting this in 2025. So we're getting this sort of wick above it, and we're trying to break through. Okay, so I do see these things happening at the same time, but at the moment getting a really bearish cross on the MACD, and bull market support bands here. So I do see this meeting it very shortly, 35 to 3600. This needs to happen. This needs to play out. Nice healthy correction to its bull market support band. 21-week EMA and 20-week SMA. I'll zoom in chart. And just finally gets down there. October time frame. Whatever it does in October, and then I think it'll start to break. And then boom. And then price discovery, and that'll be just amazing, okay? If this plays out perfect like this, you want this to touch the, the EMAs. It's crucial. And the MACD here is sort of showing downward momentum, all right? So it's following price. I want to see this curl up like we did here in April lows, final low like this, okay? Then point up and be bullish again, which, that'd be ideal if that happens, but not 100% necessary. Did it here in 2024, found its low, and then boom, went higher. The oversold level here in 2023, September, went higher. Even here, in June of 2022, it had a nice rally here. Even here, I can go back and show you this, the rally here. So I'm not saying it's perfect, We had it here too, 2021, into its final peak. And it's not perfect. Like here, it didn't work, okay? So 2019, bottoms, short rally, and then boom, went lower. But then we had divergence playing out. So there's divergent, higher low, lower lows, and then boom, nice big rally out of that. Even divergence here too. So it can work. It can work sometimes. There's 2018, big rally out of the 3-day MACD, oversold. Obviously, it worked really well in 2016. Fantastic. Look at that. Beautiful. So, don't bank it, but it's a good signal for me if other factors line up. So don't just look at this on its own. You combine multiple indicators and charts to get to the conclusion. And the macro has to be good too. Of course, it's always important to have the macro very, very strong. That's the ones I've looked at so far. Because really, the reason why I saw that correction coming for Bitcoin, I want to sort of quickly point this out, is the MACD on the weekly time frame for the Bitcoin versus the VIX, okay? And you can see, and this is pointing down pretty sharply, okay? As you can see, lower highs, 4 of them, 4 lower highs on the weekly time frames, huge divergence. And you got, 4 high highs. So higher highs here and lower highs. What's that result in? Weakening momentum and downward price action. So we're seeing a bit of correction here as MACD is crossing down. So it's obvious that Bitcoin's going to get a correction, and it's clearly playing out. Okay, and we've got divergence here too on Bitcoin, and this one's more or less the same. Okay, if you really want to look at it closely, it's pretty well flat here. These two are flat on the MACD. Okay, slightly lower here, and then downward. Okay, so 4 lower peaks essentially, and then 4 higher peaks. So 4 higher peaks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 lower peaks. That's flat, but close enough. And then correction. Another divergence here, strong weekly separation, and then bam. It was only a matter of time. We crossed up here, of course. It was up further up, but now we get this sort of mid-month push, and then boom, September's usually bearish, and seasonality plays a key role in it. Bam, come down. So that's, anyway, we're rambling, but you get the idea. But will this play out? Who knows? It'd be great if it does, but it's anyone's guess, and it's hard to predict, but things happen, and we've got to play it out and react to it. Just got to give what the market, take what the market gives. Sorry to say. It's very important not to want it to go your way, because it never does. It's got to go. You've got to work with it, and it provides you opportunities. You take them. Simple as that. And this thing is a total 3 minus Swyftx divided by Bitcoin. Now this is a controversial one, where some say the low's in, and we're going higher up to the top of the range, to the 1 level, basically 1 parity of Bitcoin's market cap. But I do see this oscillator. It is an oscillator at best, unfortunately. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I said come back down here by probably November, early November, potentially, and then eventually, I do take it a bit longer, probably into mid 2026, somewhere around there, May, June, like we did somewhere in 2018. Took a really while, a long while. So it's June, still in June, we were still up here, and we finally collapsed. So it could do something like 2017. Who knows? Yeah, I definitely see this coming in November to the range lows at quarter of Bitcoin's market cap. Now, this is not a Bitcoin dump. This will be Bitcoin dumping now, and then Bitcoin pumping to all-time highs, and this will be dropping, underperforming Bitcoin as Bitcoin makes its final cycle peak. And money will rotate into alts after this occurs. Yeah. So not to say that they won't be rallying with Bitcoin, they will be, but not as much. So yeah, not saying buy altcoins down here. Definitely don't. You'll be missing out on the gains, but very soon. Yeah. And I say, like I said before, it's really looking at ETH mainly. I'm looking at it very closely and getting to its bull market support band. We're so close to it. Get rid of these drawings. I'll show you. We are literally within like 10 percentage points, 10% of getting to this level. Okay, 10%. Get over and done with, and we're laughing. I think that'd be low for alts, and they should come and find a base here, and then shoot up higher. Now, the thing talk about is alt ETH pairs are still going up. Okay, as predicted, and we probably get this bull market support band area, and then reject. All right. As ETH gets to its bull market support band, ETHUSD, this should go to its bull market support band, a little bit higher, and then it'll fall off a cliff. All right, probably a bit earlier than, I don't know when it will, but probably might take a bit longer because ETH will lag Bitcoin, because ETH Bitcoin will be dropping. So this could be lag it a bit, and yeah, it'll do well. This will be on the back of an ETH pump. Okay, not a dump. It's dump. This is a pump. Yeah. Alts will underperform ETH into its pump and final peak. And then you've got ETH Bitcoin, okay, which is finding its top here and underperforming Bitcoin at the moment, which is expected. And will it find its low? Who knows? It could be bull market support band or slightly lower at the top of this box at 0.15. That's where I sort of see it going. So it's definitely an area to watch out for. We've wicked in here pretty aggressively in the past. Even after the breakout here in 2020, we came back down and we wicked into this box. Okay, so it's potential move that could play out. I do think, yeah, definitely that could play out. Yeah, high or low, and then continuation all the way up to the top. Alts will have to find its low, like I showed you before. Total 3 minus USD divided by Bitcoin, but ETH Bitcoin will make a higher low. It's already got its low here. That's the low, in my opinion. As ETH made a huge rally since then. So, yeah, no, you don't want retesting that level. Be danger if it does come back down to here. But no, it's slowing some strength, and it should just cool off a little bit more and then outperform, okay, into its final peak. And that's sort of the way I see it going. And, yeah, I'll quickly show you some altcoins. I've just put on TradingView now. So there's some of the ones I'm watching. And Bobo is like ETH meme coin. It's the bear of the ETH chain and the crypto market. Potentially, it's a great meme. I reckon it's going to be around for cycles to come. This thing is going to be a multi-cycle asset. But yeah, we're seeing it drop. Okay, we're sort of getting its support here. But if ETH drops a little bit lower, we could see it come back down, which might be better, and get down to here and split the band off and double bottom potentially, and then go higher. This is going to be huge for this coin. We could find a bottom here. We could. It could be the low here. So I'm not rolling this out, but this could be the next. Could be a low as well. But important thing to watch out for. It's not really the weekly. In my opinion, it's a bit slow. The weekly, I like the 3-day time frame. See this thing cross bullish, okay? And cross like this, and then up to the top. As it did in the previously, so it did it here. Okay, back in February 2025, took a while, and then boom, it took off. Yeah, finally, so it took a while to bottom out, and did it back in last September, I should say. Found a low, boom, nice push higher. Even if back here, so and then boom, and here again, cross MACD. Hello. Welcome to the Bobo Show. But yeah, you can see the idea of what the MACD can do. It's pretty powerful, and that's what I see happening. So whatever that MACD does, I'm just going to follow that. And you got some Miggles, the cat meme on the base chain,
and looks like it wants to break support here. I think it's going to hold if ETH goes lower, and we'll find a low here. And beautiful bottoming pattern, yeah, nice support, and then bam, this thing should do really, really well. This meme coin, not financial advice, but base does well. Coinbase is going to push their token, which is going to be airdropped very shortly, and these memes will get listed on Coinbase and get some of that market share too, I reckon. So that's that one. And Lofi on Sui blockchain. So we're looking at the support level here. Where will we go? This 3-day MACD looks a bit weak. If you do cross down bearish, and come back up, and then go bullish again, it'll happen on the back of this drop. Okay, so you got to watch out for this drop. It's going to be nasty, brutal. Rip the band-aid off and come back down here, the April lows, and then we can party after that. But this one's a great coin, and yeah, that's the Yeti. That's the King Yeti on the Sui chain, and I reckon it's going to do really, really well. So there's some altcoins I want to do some analysis on. One more thing I wanted to check too. It's been a long video, and yeah, this Pepe Bitcoin chart. So Pepe is the frog on the ETH chain, and sort of the bullish character. Bobo, the bear I just showed you before, that's the bearish. So green versus red. We're getting very close. Yeah, this comes back down bearish, and then crosses back up bullish. This should mark a low in Pepe Bitcoin. All right, and it should outperform then. So I had 1, 2, and 3 rejections from this downward triangle as MACD was getting really weak. And we're sort of getting to this level really so close, these lows, back in March of this year and then back in April last year. All right, so you want to see this get tagged again one more time, and then that'll be, my opinion, prime time to get into your altcoins right here. Perfect. Pepe outperforms to the upside. So that is that one. It could take longer than this, It could really take longer into 2026. Like, don't be prepared to happen straight away. But yeah, because you want to see Bitcoin and ETH run first, and then it sort of trickles down to the mid caps and then the smaller caps. So that is that analysis there. So that's important to really understand that view. And yeah, that's pretty much the video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit longer this time around, over the half an hour mark, but I sort of wanted to cover a lot, cover some ground, and yeah, make it a little bit different this time around, show some different charts, and yeah, look at some usual ones like fear and greed, of course, the Google Trends, and look at what's going on Twitter and that. Sentiment and the economic news from the Fed, what's happening in the US economy, which is PCE information coming out tonight. So whether that happens in that, whether it comes higher or lower, it's going to be interesting to see what the markets react to. And then, yeah, looking at some charts, like, your dominance charts, Bitcoin dominance, your old Bitcoin pairs and ETH Bitcoin and all that sort of stuff, and USD valuations, and seeing ETH needs to correct back downwards bull market support band to find a low, and I reckon it will mark the low for altcoins on the USD pairs. Some will bottom differently. It really depends. It's not going to collectively bottom, but maybe total market cap does bottom with ETH bottoming. But yeah, there's always going to be outliers that drop further. So just, yeah, you look at your individual altcoin against Bitcoin and ETH and see if it's had a long enough history against them, you can pinpoint where the bottom could be for that altcoin, and draw up some support resistance levels like I showed you, and MACD, add indicators, and just add so many confluence factors, multiple different charts, and yeah, combine the macro like I told you before, the Fed, and what the economy's doing, and if it's weakness in the labour markets, more so than inflation, then the Fed will favour more rate cuts. But yeah, you might get some short-term pain. It really depends. I don't want to see too much pain now. I want to see it being pretty risk on, but for the next couple of months, going to 2026. So yeah, it should be exciting old season, and get prepared, and definitely load up your bags when the time is right and your strategy tells you to do so. And I've got my own strategy, and you should have your own as well at this stage of the cycle. It's getting quite late, so just get your strategy, get it going, and and come up with an allocation, a portfolio watch list, and then allocate. Okay, so this is the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like, comment your thoughts below,
Subscribe to stay updated, and I'll catch you next one. Cheers.